What's up? What's happening? Welcome to another edition of the Minor League Take. I'm your host, Brad Case. This week on the podcast, we have a stranger. We have Zack Kelly. He did me a huge favor, reached out to me over Instagram and said he would love to come on the podcast. He's listened to a couple episodes, so I said, absolutely, let's set it up. We just got done recording, and holy crap, that is a roller coaster. That is a story to be heard. It's just, like I say at the very end of this, it's a story of, perseverance, and this kid just did not quit the whole time. And I actually am very confident that he's going to be in the big leagues this year with the Boston Red Sox. So, please give the whole thing a chance. I'm excited for you guys to hear it. As always, this is presented by More Than Baseball. More Than Baseball is an organization that's helping guys like myself and Zack Kelly make it to the big leagues and achieve our dreams. So if you can go check them out at mtb_org, that'd be fantastic. Hope you guys enjoy the show, and let me know what you think. What's up? Thank you for coming on, Zack. How you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for offering to come on the podcast. Really appreciate, someone reaching out to, come jump on and tell their story. And let's start where, we start with everybody's story on here. Try and paint me a picture for what did high school baseball look like for Zack Kelly?
High school baseball, 2A high school, like 1,200 kids. I was more of a hitter than I was a pitcher. I just kind of pitched because you kind of had to, but I always saw I was a better hitter than a pitcher. But we were all right. I mean, nothing to write home about. We had fun, but I was definitely more of an outfielder than a pitcher.
Okay, gotcha. So then what led you more to being a pitcher?
So originally I went to college to be a two-way.
Okay.
So the whole fall I hit and I pitched. I was trying to compete for our left field spot, but also trying to be in the rotation on the weekend. And so into the fall, we got our exit meetings, and I got my bat ordered, and then first day of spring, they're handing out bats and handing out all this stuff. I didn't get my bat, and I saw they forgot, and so I asked coach, where's my bat, man? And he's like, nah, you're not getting one. So that was the end of the road.
Damn, that's a tough way to get your heart broken like that.
I know, no warning, no nothing, just laying the hammer on it.
So I did the best I could to try to research you and try to figure out what your path has been so far. You started out at Concord University?
Yes. Yeah.
How they discover you when you were in high school?
I went to a camp for a Division I school, and they were there, and that's kind of how they saw me. I originally didn't want to go there, but once I kind of got over the whole D1 or bust mentality that a lot of kids have, I realized it was a pretty good opportunity to achieve what I wanted to, and so I ended up committing there. I believe in the fall of my senior year. I wanted to kind of go ahead and just get it over with. So I committed pretty early, especially for a Division II school. Mostly, you kind of run out of options and you go there. But
yeah,
I went ahead and bit the bullet early.
Yeah, dude, I was actually a D2 guy myself. I went to Rollins down in Florida. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Yeah.
But I was going through your schedule, and I saw that we played a lot of the same teams. Little Ryan would come down every year to play us. They would usually kick our butt because they were pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I kind of went through that same thing, sorting myself through the D1s I had offers for, but then and ultimately picked Rollins because I thought, for me personally, I thought I'm never going to play professional baseball. There's no point in trying to go to a big D1 and trying to be as good as I can be. So I chose Rollins, and things ended up working out the way they worked out, which I don't hate for sure. But going to a D2, did you kind of think in the back of your head, oh man, this might not be it to make it to the big leagues?
Yeah, a little bit, just because obviously, it's not Division I, and nobody's really gonna be talking about you. But at the same time, kind of how I handled some the D1 versus D2 offers that I had, I just kind of sat back and looked at each program, and I try to narrow it down to pretty much, where can I get the best opportunity, and if this school was to play this school, who would win?
Okay.
And like most like the D school, it was D1 schools. Like it was D1, but they weren't very good.
Yeah.
And so like, and I didn't want to really go to like a program like that where winning is not like a first priority. And so I went to a Division II school. We won 38 games and didn't make a regional.
You won 38 games?
38. Yeah, I think my freshman year we went 38-16 and didn't sniff a regional.
That's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah.
I mean, we never even got close either. We were always, right at like below 500. We were terrible in college, and that's definitely something that's carried over in a pro ball where like it kind of bugs me now that the focus isn't necessarily winning, but I still want to at least try and create that winning culture because I had it in high school and lost it in college, and I'm trying to just get it back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Are you, damn, dude, 38-16 still didn't make.
Then was never even a thought.
Damn, that's tough. That's tough to hear. Can you walk me through your freshman year at Concord? Because it looked like you were just there for 1 year, right?
I was there for 2.
Okay. Were you? I'm sorry. Then I'm trying to find the stats. My bad. What did So all right. What? I can't find the first year. Sorry about that, man. What happened in your?
Nothing to write home about. But the way we did it, we did 4 7s, Saturday, Sunday, doubleheader both days.
Okay.
And I ended up being our number 4. Excuse me, my voice cracked. I was our number 4 guy.
Yeah.
I had the shortest leash I think I've ever had.
Dang.
Like I started like for most of the year. I think just about all year except for like the first series of the year, which was like a 3-game series, and then like toward like the last like 2 or 3, and I don't even think I got over 40 innings. I mean, because like at that point we had like a lot of older guys that kind of took the reins, and then so they were able to kind of eat a lot of the innings on Saturday, and so once Sunday came around, we just bullpen just like first sign of trouble is coming
start
in
rolling guys out.
Yeah, and so if I got through 4 innings on Sunday, that was my job, which
that
was
was considered a success. Yeah,
which was like kind of frustrating because I wasn't used to that, but I understood where the kind of the position I was in as a freshman starting, but I was just grateful to be able to compete my freshman year. A lot of my team, like a lot of the guys that came in with, were redshirting or off the bench, and so just to be able to start on the weekends was a big deal, and regardless of how it went, that's just kind of how I thought about it.
Yeah, I mean, myself too. I got the opportunity as a freshman to be a starter, and walking into that, I remember being pulled into the office and being told that for the first time, and I was scared out of my mind because I thought I wasn't ready. Did you kind of feel that too, or were you like, "Let's go, baby, I'm ready for this"?
I was ready. It didn't go like my first outing. It was a relief appearance at Mount Olive.
Yeah, I just pulled it up. I found it.
Yeah, short one. I come in, bases juice, 1 out. It was a 1 or 2 run game. I don't remember if we were ahead or behind, but it was a close game. Like I had an opportunity to come in and keep it close or shut the door.
Yeah,
I walked the guy on 4 pitches, not even close.
Oh.
Not even. So then next guy, first pitch slider for a strike. I'm like, all right, there we go. Like here we go. And the next guy's plunked him. Next pitch, plunked him. Came right out. So my first ever outing. 6 pitches, walk hit my pitch.
Yeah, damn, that's tough. That's a tough way to start it, but things have definitely seemed to turn around since then. Since you're with the Red Sox now. So
yeah.
But yeah, so what? Try and walk me through. I actually have not. I don't think I've had anyone come on that has transferred schools. What happened? What kind of went down? Because you have 2 years of some good success around a 4 ERA, which is pretty solid. What happened going into that junior year where you decided to leave?
I think it was just like like a personal like decision that I made. I didn't tell anybody until it happened. In my head before I even started the year, I knew it was going to be my last year, but I didn't want to like tell anybody. Like obviously to cause any. Like I'm sure if like the staff would have found out, I would probably have been canned. But I just wanted to do my best and give my teammates my best, and but I don't it wasn't any like bad blood between anybody. Like had great relationships with my teammates, great relationships with the staff, but it was just something about like just like where the location where the location was, like north, like I guess not technically northeast, but like that whole like West Virginia, Pennsylvania. It's good baseball, but it's just so cold.
Yeah.
And like one, I didn't like that, and two, it doesn't really matter like how good you are. It's going to be hard to get any kind of professional scouts to come watch a game in 35, 40 degrees. And so I didn't know how realistic it was to be able to go play professionly, but I wanted to give myself a chance. I remember my sophomore year, we had 8 inches of snow. That was on Monday. We opened the season on Saturday. We spent all week shoveling snow off the field. Like the hitters got an hour in the gym, and the pitchers got an hour in the gym. That's all we practiced that week. We were spent the whole week shoveling.
Oh my God!
Just so we could play a 4-game set that weekend.
Sure, your backs were just killing you by the end of that.
It was miserable, and like
it
didn't get to like 3/4 sleep weather until like midway 3/4 of the season, and just it wasn't fun. Like
I can't imagine.
Wasn't for me. But I don't hold like anything against that university. I was able to throw 100 innings between my freshman and sophomore year. Not a lot of guys can say that. And
that's a shit ton of work on the mound.
And like that was like the experience for me was like that was the biggest thing. I just want to go somewhere down south a little bit more where it was I would be able to have a lot more
get going,
weather friendly, better baseball, have more opportunities to ultimately do what I wanted to do. And so I played throughout the whole year, and then after that last game, we got knocked out in the conference tournament, I think.
Damn.
I was like, hey, I'm leaving.
Hey, thanks for everything, but this is it. Yeah, dude, I was very fortunate. Like I said, down at Rollins, I remember my first game my freshman year. It was January 29th, and it was like 75 and sunny out. It was beautiful. It was very lucky.
Oh yeah,
man.
Yeah, when I went to Newberry, we opened up. We had a 3-game series. We played Lynn, Nova, and Barry.
You came down to Florida?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we had like a conference versus conference kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Like three of ours and 3 of them, and it was great. Like 85, like Fort Lauderdale, Miami. It's like, all right, here. This is
dude. That's a nice place down there.
More like it.
What year was this? This is 2017.
16.
Oh, 16. Okay, all right. So I was a freshman. 16. That's the year Nova won the D2 national championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were filthy that year. That was miserable playing them.
Oh yeah, and we ended up sweeping that series. We beat Lynn on Friday.
Lynn wasn't too good that year, but Nova was a problem.
I don't know. I didn't keep up with Lynn, but I bet they're really good at home, dude. They bombed. I feel like they just got guys that can just lift the ball to left field, and it just goes out in their park. I don't know.
All right, so I actually got a quick story about Lynn in 2016. So they had this guy who D2 has this weird rule. I'm sure you've heard of it. Most of the people listen.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Yep. John Silviano, man. He gets drafted out of high school, plays 3 years of professional baseball, I believe with the Blue Jays. Doesn't do great, gets released, decides to go to college, and now everyone on the podcast listening to this is going, you can't do that. You can go play professional baseball and then go play in D2. It was ridiculous. This kid hit 30 home runs in a 50-game season. I can still picture the backdoor slider I threw him and how easily he put it over the fence.
Well, dude, yeah, I knew you were going to say that because we're playing in Jacksonville and
He tagged you too.
in 19, and like I'm throwing, we're doing my thing, and the announcer's like number whatever, John Silviano. I literally stepped off, I looked back at the jumbotron.
Yeah.
I looked at him, I'm like, no way, and like didn't think anything of it. When I came out, the first thing I did before I went, like took my cleats off, I looked it up. I was like, no way. It was
you were
hilarious.
like, you son of a bitch, you're still out here.
Oh, dude, it's wild.
So, but to continue the story, dude, I'm down here at the Cressy facility down in Florida.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing one day, and like I'm kind of walking by the cages. All of a sudden, I hear, "Hey, Silviano, you're up next." And I go, "No." I go, "No way." And I run in there and I look. I go, "Is John Silviano in here?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" I'm like, "Dude, I played you in college." And he was like, "Oh yeah, I remember." He remembered it was a 2-strike backdoor slide. Like he told me he could remember that. And I was like, "Dude, you hit 30 home runs that season. How do you remember hitting that one home run off?" He was like, "I don't know. I remembered all of them." He's just a super talented guy.
We watched him like take BP, and it's like his arms like the size of my head, and he's just like he could have went out there with a toothpick and hit it out. Yeah, unreal.
He is. Yeah, he's huge. He's with St. Paul now, the indie ball team.
Yeah.
So he's up there. He's a super nice guy. I never talked to him until a couple weeks ago, but super nice guy.
He played. He ended up, I don't remember what he played in college, but he played first, and he had like every game he had like a custom pair of like J's. Like he got custom cleats, so like swag out, dude.
I'm sure he did. Well, he was super swaggy, so he had all blue stuff.
He was super swaggy,
dude. That's no shock at all, man. That's funny though that you played against him too. But yeah, sorry, we got sidetracked there talking about John Silviano. But yeah, dude, you move. Where the hell? Why is it? Okay, there it is. Yeah, man, your first year at Newberry, you bring that ERA all the way down to a 3.02. What do you think was a big product of that? Was it just different environment? You like pitching in the warmer weather better? A new coach? What was the big change for you?
I think just like the way we trained and worked at Newberry was like something I'd never done before. Like the way we lifted, the way the stuff we would do like every Friday morning was like it was almost like a culture shock, but like it sucked. Don't get me wrong, it sucked.
It sucked,
but I think it kind of like opened my eyes to like, all right, like, this is serious. Like you need to take it a little bit more serious. And I think this kind of the guys we had on our team was just we had like a team full of guys that would just hold you accountable for whatever you're doing. And so I think like more of like a team environment kind of pushed everybody to do a little bit more. And I got along really well with our pitching coach, PJ Zachi. He's a big help in my career. Probably the biggest help if I had to direct that to one person. But I think that's what it was. And, just, really learning how to pitch a little bit more instead of just kind of throwing, starting to learn like what pitch to throw and what counts, trying to change sequences from at bat to at bat. But yeah, that was a good year. I got
you grew from a thrower into more of a pitcher, basically.
Yeah, 100%. Just because I kind of had like in my mind, I kind of try to think a couple pitches ahead, and like before I'm like, yeah, I'll throw a fastball here, and slider, why not? But that kind of changed when I got down to Newberry.
I gotcha. That's interesting. So this is your junior year, and this is the first time that we're draft eligible after, when we're 18 in high school. Did you have teams, starting to come forward with some interest? What'd that look like for you?
No, not
really.
Not after my junior year. No, I didn't throw hard enough.
Okay. What was the velo around?
I threw 87, 88 from my junior year of high school until my junior year of college.
Wow. Did that get kind of frustrating, like not being able to see any kind of growth?
yeah, and like the velo like on my slider and changeup would get harder, but nothing would change with my fastball. It didn't matter like what I did, like it never went down. Like I never like leaked really in like 84, 85 range.
Yeah.
But everything was 87, 88, maybe 89 here, but no, just stayed there. Didn't matter what I did.
Damn.
It was frustrating.
I bet. I mean,
like honestly, I think that kind of helped me in some ways where, it's not like I threw 95 and I could just get away with blowing fastballs just wherever I wanted and just getting outs. I really had to learn how to pitch, because like you come down like South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Division II baseball is not it's good baseball.
It's no joke. People always kind of write off D2, but it's some serious baseball.
Yeah, and that's why I tell people, I'm just like, whenever May or June, whenever the D2 World Series, just go take a look at rosters and just see how many of those guys were those big Division I guys out of high school.
Yeah,
and for whatever one reason or another, they drop down to D2, but those are guys you're facing. Like I remember facing like some guys. It's like one lineup. It was like Georgia, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Collins and Charleston. It's like, all right, well, here we go.
You're basically playing a D1 team.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, dude. I hope that's something that changes too. Is that the stigma of D2 starts to kind of fade away, because there's some serious good talent, and it's going to continue to be good. So wow, yeah, no real draft interest going into at the end of 16. Going into 17, your senior year, are you kind of like, hey, this is the year where I got to make something crazy happen?
Not really. I didn't really think about it.
Okay.
But after my junior year, I always played summer ball. Like when I was like talking to some of my teammates, like, no, I'm not going to play summer ball. I just like kind of looked at them because I thought that's just what you did.
Yeah. What leagues are you playing?
I played in like the Carolina Virginia League after my senior year of high school, freshman, sophomore year. I was going to go play in Wilmington after my sophomore year in the Coastal Plains League.
Yeah.
Like, literally 2 days after I got down there, they put it, like, apparently a few weeks before, they put in a rule about like a transfer, and like if your coach is like a division, like a level above you, or some weirdly worded rule, like that pretty much since I was a transfer, I couldn't play for this team. Which I'd already committed, but I mean, it would have been a great opportunity, but I was like, all right, whatever, that's fine. So I just went back home and played summer ball that year. And then after my junior year, I tried to go to the Cape. Couldn't even get a temp contract in the Cape, which whatever, it's fine.
Yeah.
But I went to Wilson in the Coastal Plains League. I mean, I pretty much had to fight my pitching coach just to let me go. I think I threw 70, 80 innings my junior year. Mm-hmm. So I mean, I pretty much had to fight him to go, but he let me go under. He said you can have 40 innings. Like, I don't care if it's the championship series or whenever you get to 40 innings, like you're going home.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was, I think it was either the first series of the playoffs or like we were battling for a playoff spot, and it was like the last series, and I couldn't throw.
But that's heartbreaking.
But it was an awesome opportunity for me. Great experience. Kind of as another kind of big step for me was just going facing your big SEC, ACC guys, and having success, and it's kind of like, damn, like I can compete against these guys. I'm doing all right. And so
yeah, it's a huge confidence boost.
Yeah, and then when I got back to school in August, September, whenever it was, I wasn't allowed to throw for a month, but it was a good experience.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's great to hear. So then what? So you said earlier, from the time you were a junior in high school to your junior in college, you were about like in that 88 to 90, or in that window right there.
Yeah.
What happened when you started realizing like, oh, I'm starting to throw harder? Like, when was that moment?
I so like I said, I didn't throw for a month after
Mhm.
after I got back to school, and I really tried to take the weight room seriously. We had a new strength coach that year. His name is Brent Norfrey. He's at UVA Wise. He came from Alabama and did a lot of stuff with their football team. So I really, obviously, I trusted him.
Mhm.
We hammered lifts all for a month straight. I was coming in extra, trying to stay as long as I could, do as much as I could, and then the first my first live of the fall, the first pitch I threw was 92. Everything was
There
like
we go.
91, 91, 92. And one of the guys who was charting, he came down. He's like, is this gun right? I don't know. What are you talking about? He like showed me. I was like, nah, it's got to be high. It's got to be
It's got
high.
to be someone definitely fucked with it. Yeah.
And then we had like another gun. I went like through like three more pitches, like 91, 92. I was like, damn. All right, here we go. it,
Yeah.
it was like it's all it's like funny. It's like I hit 92 before I hit 90.
That's
But just like
funny.
seeing that, it was just like satisfying. Obviously, because it's like the hardest I had thrown before, but just the fact that I pretty much tried busting my tail off for a month, and then just tried to do everything I could to get stronger and
Yeah.
to throw harder, and it worked. And so that was a good moment
That's
for
it.
sure.
Yeah, dude, that's a fantastic moment. I'm sure that, you're super excited and you started, did your brain start getting curious of like, oh, maybe the draft is now like a possibility for me in a couple months?
Yeah, once that happened, that's when I kind of started thinking about it for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And then kind of, moving into your senior season, when was the moment where like you started noticing like some scouts showing up, some guys taking interest? When did that all start happening for you?
we had we had a pro day in if I don't know, November maybe,
Yeah.
I think. And the way it actually got postponed because what they do, like they would go to two schools at once,
Mhm.
and I was like I think it's like a lower level Division I school, Presbyterian college. I think in the Big South. They canceled theirs, and so they canceled theirs, so ours got canceled too, because
Oh
we're
my God.
30, 45 minutes away from each other, and
Yeah.
so we ended up being the next weekend, and that was like our fall World Series or whatever it was, and so we threw like all our guys got to throw like 12 pitches, do your little pro style workout, but then we actually had like a game, or so to speak, and so I ended up starting. I threw like 4 innings. I think we only had we had like 10 scouts there, and I think only like 5 or 6 stayed for the game, but I went four. I struck out a lot of guys, didn't walk anybody.
Yeah.
I was like 92, 95, and that's like I kind of like knew. I was like, all right,
This is
uh,
it. Yeah.
I'm doing what I can, and so that's kind of when it was for me.
Okay. So if you listen to any of the earlier episodes, I talk a lot with guys the if to when moment. So like it'd be cool if I get drafted to it's gonna be cool when I get drafted. Like like
Yeah,
this shit's happening now. Was that moment for you?
I I still think I don't really ever think it was like when until I guess later,
Yeah.
probably like a lot. It's like my senior day, which I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah, let's get to it. What
But
yeah, what did that look like?
so I guess I had scouts there pretty much. I think everyone.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not gonna name teams, but there was one team that came to I think all 13 of my starts, and then after the season, I never heard another word from him. I'm like,
That's
all right,
weird. All right.
all right, man, whatever. But so it was us, and it was actually Lenore Ryan.
Okay.
Boys.
Yeah.
We had a guy, Thomas St. Clair. He ended up being 24th, 25th, something mid 20th to the Cardinals that year. He ended up being our pitcher of our conference pitcher of the year too. But like, it was me and him on Friday night. It was just, I mean, it was like one of those games where it's like
it was electric. There's people were there. Place was bumping.
Yeah, it was bumping for Newberry College. We probably had about a whopping like 600 people there.
That's really good. That's much better than Rollins ever did.
But it's like, it was like, you're shagging BP and you kind of like look up and like there's just scouts just sitting there already, and it's like, wow, like here we go. And I think he went like into the 8th, and like I ended up throwing a complete game shutout. We won 2-0, and it was just like, that's when I was like, all right, like that kind of sealed it. I wouldn't like seal it, but I felt a lot better.
Definitely helped. Yeah,
it was. And they actually had another guy, a reliever. He's a lefty named John Curtis. He was a 8th round pick to the Braves that year.
Oh wow, damn.
But yeah, it was a good weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But that's awesome. And then draft is a couple weeks later. What did draft look like? Take me through that.
Yeah, so I didn't ever had like an agent or an advisor or anything. Like, I didn't really think I guess it was like too late. I was like, whatever. I didn't really know that was really a thing, to be honest. But
yeah.
So I ended up having like my head coach reach out, and pretty much came down to 2 teams. One was like, we're going to take you as a senior sign on day 2. Like, all right, cool. And then once day 2 went and I didn't go, I figured, I was like, all right, at some point today, surely. And I woke up to a text from a couple teams that were just, we're going to take you at some point today. Like, are you willing to sign for whatever?
X amount, yeah.
And like, as a senior, it's like $1,000. Will. Like,
yeah, it's yes or no, and then that's it.
Yeah. And so I'm like, yeah, whatever, absolutely. And I just keep sitting there like, I did what you're not supposed to do, and just sit there and watch it, pick after pick. You're not supposed to do that. I did the
same thing. I did the same exact thing.
It, I 100% did.
Yeah.
And then, so like first 10 rounds go by, we're on the 20th now. Hadn't sniffed like a call or anything. I mean, just watching guys go that I played against them, like, they're pretty good. Like, yeah, good for them.
Yeah.
And like 25th round, 30th round, like, I'm not hearing anything. I'm like getting nervous. I'm like, all right, like, maybe this is it. Like, it is what it is. And then I get a text from one of the scouts with Oakland. He's like, hey, we're about to take you. Like, all right, cool. Turn the TV up. Oakland's pick comes out. I don't know who it was. It wasn't
pick
me.
Someone else. Pick Chad.
I'm like, damn, Chad. Like, you, man. And then I get another text. Hey, like, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. Like, I'm trying for you. I'm like, yeah, dude. You do your thing. Good for you. Whatever. And I think like the 37th came around, and still like nothing. And then I get a text. I'm like, oh, here we go. And he goes, and I remember he's like, hey, I think we're going to take some position players. I'll talk to you after. I'm like, oh no. And it's like the 40th, and like they took like a high school catcher. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what? It's like, at that point, I like cut the TV off, like didn't talk, like just like went upstairs, like didn't talk to nobody. And it was probably like 20 minutes after the draft, like it already ended. And he's like, would you be interested in a free agent deal? I'm like, hell yeah.
Hell yeah. There we go, baby.
Whatever you want. I would not need to be there. But it was like really disappointing. I hate, like, it's like funny whenever that story comes, like, what was your draft story? I'm like, well, didn't really get drafted. And like guys, like, hey, what round were you? I'm like, 41st, 41st.
Yeah.
But regardless of it was fun. Just getting an opportunity to play, because I mean, it's like I've come to realize, like, once you get to a certain point, like you're like it matters to a certain extent, but it essentially doesn't matter too much where you're drafted. So
yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna have to definitely cut this little part right here. Wait, are you? Is Portland? Is that not the Red Sox?
yeah,
Did you get traded?
no, I got released. Corona released.
Yeah, Corona released and then signed. Okay, my bad, dude. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, bring that up because
I mean, yeah, we'll get to that, but we'll definitely get to that part of the story in a second. Damn. All right, crazy. That's crazy. I didn't even realize. All right. But yeah, dude, you get drafted by the A's, and you move into your first season. What was kind of some of your first takeaways in pro ball?
I wouldn't say it was what I expected, but it was about what I expected. Just uptick in talent, uptick in like your kind of like attention to detail.
Yeah.
I guess like I don't even think the biggest adjustment was baseball, though. I think the biggest adjustment was being in on the West Coast for the first time ever, or waking up and not having to go to class before you went to practice.
Dude, that might be my favorite part. That might be my favorite part about it.
It's like you wake up, it's like, wow, like I don't have to go to econ today. like earth science or something. This is great. But I think that was it. We actually had a lot of senior sign guys. So we had like a lot of guys like kind of in my position where we were able to kind of relate that way. And we had a fun group of guys that, in the middle of summer in Arizona is not fun.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
It's pretty. Yeah, the rookie leagues are pretty bad. AZL and GCL are both some brutal times.
Yeah, and it was just it was kind of like I still think, like, to this day I tell guys, like, it's harder to pitch in Arizona than it is in A-ball, because it's like you'll have one guy come up, an older, a 4-year college guy that, he has the stuff figured out, he has an approach, and the next guy is like, you like a 16, 17-year-old kid who's just, he just hasn't developed,
hasn't matured yet
at such a young age. And so it's like you kind of almost have to let that dictate kind of how you go about the at bat, which it's tough. It really is, but it was great. I didn't throw a lot just because I was already, because I went home and our season ended in like the first weekend of May, and the draft wasn't until mid-June. So that's like I came back and threw in like a little summer ball league at home. So I mean, I was 105 innings in that year before I even got out to Arizona, and they knew that, so which was fun. But yeah, I mean, it was a weird experience, but it was good.
That's good. Actually, I just realized you probably played with Mitchell Jordan, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Me and him used to train together over in Orlando.
Okay. Yeah. He's nasty, dude. He's good.
Dude, he did not break the speed barrier, but he was just put it where he wanted. Had a great changeup.
Yeah, he did. He's a really good dude too. He's awesome.
Dude, fantastic dude. He's so happy living in Orlando now with his wife and just has all that set up. So he's a great dude. But yeah, you move into your first full season. And you start out in you start out in rookie ball, right?
I went to low A first.
You went to low A first, okay? Because I'm trying to figure out how this whole mess is working out here in 2018. Yes, kind of walk me through your first season of 2018, because your MILB page is all over the place. You started in low A, you said?
Yeah, my MILB page is a mess. Like, they have like a record of who has like the most transactions. I hope I'm near the top. But I went to camp with Oakland. I went down, I think the second outing with like a shoulder injury. It wasn't very severe, but it's spring, so they're going to be cautious. And so I rehabbed for 2-3 weeks, maybe. I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
And then ended up coming back throwing a few times, and I got there one morning and like, hey, come in the office. Never good.
No.
Especially at 7 a.m. It's not what you want to do. But ended up we getting released that day, and so I was like, I don't really know what to do from here. And so, but it is what it is. So then I ended up flying home like a few days later. I didn't know if I was ever going to get back, but I at least wanted to go play somewhere, so I didn't sit there and just like waste the whole off season like to do nothing.
Yeah.
And ultimately, what I wanted to do was go somewhere and try to start, and like kind of prove to teams that I could start meaningful games and get a good a starter workload in, because I kind of got labeled as a reliever when I got to pro ball, which I'd never done before, and so I had no idea like what to do, if I like a routine or in between outings. I had no clue. And so I was driving up to Florence, Kentucky, for a Frontier League tryout. I kid you not, I drove 8 hours up there. I passed the field. It's like on the interstate. I got there the day before. I called my wife and I'm like, hey, I just passed the field. I'll be at the hotel. Or I was actually staying with my agent at the time.
Okay.
He was in Cincinnati, which was 20 minutes away. I'm like, hey, I'll be at his house soon. I'll text him when I get there. As I'm on the phone with her, a random number from Arizona calls, and I'm like, hello. And it ended up being Mike Picasso with the Angels organization. So
okay.
As soon as he offered what he did, and I was like, yeah, absolutely. I'll be there. I'll be there whenever.
Did you say to him, wow, you could have called me like 8 hours ago? That would have been great.
Dude, I literally turned around the next day and drove right back home.
That's awesome.
This little pointless road trip. But yeah, and so I got up there and I was extended for a little bit just to make sure like none of the injury came back, which was fine. But then probably midway through, I guess May, maybe end of May. I don't remember when it was. I ended up going to Burlington in the Midwest League.
Okay.
That's why I guess I got like my first taste of like real
full season pro ball,
minor league baseball. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you do well enough there, and you moved to high A after some time, right?
No.
All right, I'm gonna let you take away the story because I have no idea how to even operate this MILB page.
18 might be like the wildest year of my baseball career.
So what happened? So you're there. So you get to Burlington. You're there for you pitch 30 innings, 28 innings, and then what happens from there?
I go to Burlington. I don't throw the first day. I throw the second day. The next day, we go on a 3-day road trip to Beloit. So I have what I need for those 3 days, and I'm just doing everything like normal.
Yep.
Second day we're in Beloit. Like, hey, you got to go back to Arizona. We got a couple guys going to throw a live BP to one of the big league guys that's rehabbing. Go throw. He'll be right back up here. I'm like, okay, whatever, cool. So I go back to Arizona. I'm there, and I got to I throw after 2 days. I'm like, hey, like, what's going on? Like, what are we doing? And they say, hey, you're going. We don't have a spot for you in Burlington anymore. We got to send you to rookie ball. Like, sorry, but
oh my god,
that's the only spot we have.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So I go to Orem, Utah. Good old Orem, Utah. I throw, I think twice. 4 inning outings out of the pen. That was interesting.
Yeah.
So I do that in a span of like a week and a half, 2 weeks. And then, so I'm in the process of getting my stuff sent. Like, I didn't know.
Finally trying to get settled. Yeah.
And like, send me my suitcase. Send me my suitcase to Orem. I'm like, yeah, we'll do that for sure. I'm like, okay. And so by the time like it's like they get back and like they take care of everything, like, hey, you're going to High A, Inland Empire. Oh, okay. Like,
Oh my God.
Which I wasn't even thinking about anything. Like, I was like, yeah, sweet, like, let's go. Like, yeah, absolutely.
This turned from a demotion into a big promotion.
Yeah, and then it probably took me like a week and a half to actually get my stuff from Burlington.
Yeah.
And so it was like 2.5 weeks that I had a 3-day road trip full of clothes. It was a
that
circus.
Is the minor leagues to a T.
It was a circus.
Yeah.
But, everything was great. I originally was going to fill in for some guy who got hurt, and then I ended up, he came back, and I thought, all right, I did my job and going back, but I ended up getting to stay a little bit longer. Which it was great. It was a great experience. Just kind of meeting new guys and being like a little higher level than I really expected to be that year.
Yeah.
So then I did end up going back to Burlington like the last 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season, and finished up there. So it was a wild
2018 you go from being in spring training with the A's to being released to driving to an indie ball tryout to being put in low A to back to the AZL to to rookie ball to high A, just back down to low A. That just sounds like an absolute nightmare. I know myself personally, like, I hate moving around. That would have driven me insane.
It was what's going on.
It was just insane. But then 2019 comes around and you get to start. I'm not even gonna try to guess as to where you started because I don't know. So
I started in Mobile.
Started in Mobile. Okay.
Yeah.
So you started in Double A.
Yes.
That's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah, I didn't had like zero expectations.
But what happened? So you get to Mobile, and then this part of your MILB page is messy also. So what happened?
It's a circus, yeah. So I go through camp. Everything's fine. I'm throwing well. Everything feels good. Probably not injured. And like the last day of camp, our coordinator tells me, "Hey, we're gonna try you out as a starter." Oh, okay. And you're also going to Double A. Oh, okay.
You're like, all right, sounds good. Yes, sir.
All right, hell yeah, here we go. But kind of part of that was I'd only been throwing like one inning outings, and so part of that was like I pretty much had to like extend like my personal spring training another like 2 weeks, just increase my pitches and bullpens, start throwing some live BPs, start throwing up downs, and just being ready to go as a starter. Yeah. So I was fine with that. I was like finally like back to kind of on the East Coast, like close enough, I guess. Close enough, like
for sure, yeah, better than California.
I felt back to normal. Oh yeah. Oh. And then I don't remember if we made a move or somebody got hurt or what it was, but I showed up. We were in Mississippi, and like second or third series of the year. I had no intentions of like throwing that early in the season, but whatever happened, it was like before the game. It was like, hey, or I guess it was whenever you got there. Our pitching coach was like, hey, you're throwing today. Like, okay, all right, cool. And so that like the whole, I guess, build up kind of got shut off real quick, and then I ended up coming in that night, and it felt great. Because I was nervous just because I didn't expect to be there. It's a really tough jump. Double A is, one of your A ball to double A is one of like the tougher jumps. And like, looking back now, it's like seeing how many of those guys that, partly I played with and played against are in the big leagues now. It's just,
a lot of guys say if you can play in Double A, you can play in the big leagues. And I mean, you get there and you post a 3.8 in your time there, and I consider that a success. I consider that like a good year of what you want. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I was completely happy with it. I think I grew as a pitcher, especially. I had a lot of, like, I guess on my you would look at a box score and it's like a relief outing, but most of those were piggyback starts where you go 4-4 or like 4 innings and bring somebody in and kind of bridge and then throw the last 4 or whatever. Like once I kind of like later in the year kind of I guess got my start day, it felt good. I felt like I had accomplished kind of what one of my goals was to be a starter in pro ball, like, and it took a lot of convincing and pleading my case to a lot of people, but I felt a lot more comfortable in that role. And I grew so much as a pitcher. We kind of really like opened up analytically and with the Angels in 2019 and just talking about like pitch selection and this is what your stuff does, this is where your stuff plays well, and this count you need to be throwing more of this, and it really kind of opened up like a whole lot of information that I didn't know was out there. And so I really tried to use it to my advantage. I think that definitely happened.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. But yeah, I mean, clearly, you have some great success there. Do you want to talk about quickly how you dropped down to how did you have a loss in high A when you had a 0 ERA?
Oh,
doesn't make any sense.
We had a guy come down from AAA. He'd been in the big leagues before. Greg Malley, great guy, love the guy.
Okay.
We came down, and like I was supposed to throw on a Sunday, and then like he, big leaguer, he gets the advantage. So he's like, Greg's gonna start, and you're gonna piggyback off of him, come in after him. Like, okay, cool. And so we get done. We have a day game the next day. This is like Saturday night, 11 o'clock. I got a call from our pitching coach. He's like, hey man, like you're gonna hate me. Like, what?
Oh no.
What's going on? He's like, the team, like Inland Empire, they had a long night last night with the bullpen. They're playing like a 22 and 18 days stretch. Like, you got to go. I'm like, no. And so
send someone else, not me.
And like it's so late, like short notice. Like, there's not a flight out of Mobile to get there before the game because it was a day game. It was like a 3 o'clock game the next day in California.
Oh,
and so I had a 6 o'clock flight the next like Sunday morning out of Pensacola. It was like an hour and 15 minutes away. So I somehow find an Uber at like 4 in the morning in Mobile, Alabama on a Sunday morning. And I get in there. I'm like, hey man, like, we're going to Pensacola. He's like, all right. He's like, all right, let's go. So
let's get crazy.
I go out there. I get to Ontario, California. No sleep, zero. Like,
zero sleep. You just got to roll out there.
And then when I get there, we got to go to Lake Elsinore, which is like an hour and a half from the airport. I am just like, I'm in a bad mood. I have no sleep. I'm just like, I'm like, you didn't want to be around me. Like,
yeah, for sure.
Bitter. Like, so then I get there. I'm like, I throw like no warm up. I got there like 2:30 for a 3 o'clock game. Like no warm up, no food, just like
Just not how you want.
Look up show and go and like a baseball like textbook, and that's what it was. That was the biggest show I've ever done. And then I come in like the sixth, throw my 3 innings, and then my 4th inning we go into extra innings. And like that's when they brought in the rule where like you have to have the guy on second base to start. So then I gave up.
Okay.
Ground out and fly out. Like I got a loss. I'm just like,
that's
shitty. Like, you know what? Like this is the worst trip I've ever had.
Then you thank God they just flew you right back, right?
They did. I was like, oh, thank God.
That's good.
It was one. That's probably one of my better minor league stories. It's just like looking back now, it's like I don't know how I even functioned enough.
I don't know how or why that even became the option that you had to go with, but Jesus, good Lord, man, that's a good story. But then, dude, you moved through the rest of 2019, have a great ERA, and like I said earlier, if you can pitch in Double A, you can probably pitch in the big leagues. But then 2020 comes around, and it kind of gets shut down short because of the coronavirus and everything. And then how I don't think I'm exposing the Angels right now by saying this, but they were kind of notorious for how poorly they treated all their minor leaguers throughout the whole process. Was it kind of a big shock when you got the call, letting you know that
Yeah. At the time, yeah, it was. Because I was like on and off the Phantom, which I felt like I was doing well enough to kind of stay off of that. But when you have so many guys at one affiliate, you kind of gotta make paper moves, which was fine. But I wasn't the only one. We had a couple of guys that were like that, which it is what it is. It's the minor leagues. Everybody's got to get their work in, and I know as a free agent sign, I'm never be a prospect on any kind of list or anything like that. And so I understand my role. But I got to camp, and my first live of camp. So the first week I'm there, I go to throw a pitch, and I feel like a pull in my elbow, and I go, oof. I didn't but nothing velo, everything stayed the same. And then 2 days later, I couldn't throw it 75 feet. I had no clue. I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I had never felt that before. And so I went and told the staff, and then 3 days later, 4 days later, whatever it was, like, hey, your UCL is torn. You need Tommy John. Oh, okay.
Holy crap!
Like, oh, cool. All right, here we go. So they did give me the option to rehab it, which at this point I'm trying to compete for a spot in AAA to start the year, and I have 7 weeks till the season starts. So it might have been a little bit naive of me to try, but I did. I tried, and then everything obviously happened.
Everything happens, yeah.
Then 2020 happened, and it was just there's no, I don't even know how to describe it, but I got home and continued to try to rehab it. I probably got up to 80%, but I couldn't go farther than that. Just without pain. And finally, my wife got tired of hearing me complain about it, and she was like, just call him, tell him, and then she literally sat there like, all right, call him. It's like, I'll sit here all day, but you're gonna call him. And so I did, and then we got it set up, and then that was into May, and then 2 days later I got released, which was
Jesus Christ. Can they release? I thought they couldn't release you while you're rehabbing an injury.
Yeah, apparently they can't, but
Jesus, yeah.
I was pretty bitter for I'm not even gonna try to disagree or deny it. I was pretty bitter for a little bit, but after I kind of got over that, it was I'm grateful for, the opportunity that they gave me. I met some great teammates. Some of them are, I still talk to pretty much every other day, every week, even now, which, you don't see that a lot in minor league baseball. This was how much guys are moving around, but, it was awesome. I enjoyed my time there. Couldn't have asked for more, but, I think I'm better. I think I'm in a better opportunity. I'm healthy. I feel good.
That's the important part.
Everything with the surgery went well, and I got a second opinion down at Andrews in Birmingham with Dr. Dugas, and that ended up leading to it not looking as severe as it once did. And so I was able to get kind of like the UCL Repair, where essentially they just go in and kind of it's like more like a newer.
It's not necessarily the full Tommy John surgery, right?
It's only probably been around for like 5-6 years, and like there's like very limited candidates for it. But fortunately, I was a candidate for it, and so they let's just go in and reattach the ligament to the bone and put a piece of tape, like collagen tape over it.
Yeah,
just to kind of secure it. So I got a new UCL, and everything feels great. And I feel good.
That's awesome to hear. This might be a weird take, but one of my teammates with the Pirates, he got TJ during this. He literally flew to Birmingham and then never came back to the facility and had all of his stuff just shipped to his house because that's when Corona happened. And I said to him, I was like, dude, like, this is gonna be weird, but like, this is the perfect time for that to happen. Like, we're gonna miss the year, we're gonna miss all this time, and you're not gonna be missing any of it because you're hurt anyways. So did you kind of take that perspective too, kind of?
Yeah, 100%. I think I grew more like as a player and like as a person like this past 6 months than I ever had, because I'm sitting here rehabbing an injury that can kind of dictate my career like by myself. Like I had like no like guidance, no nothing, just me. And like, but like I think I kind of took a lot of stuff like for granted, as far as just like getting work in, or doing stuff I didn't want to. I had to change that. And so I think that kind of opened my eyes to a whole new like perspective of just like my mentally how I'm approaching like my career. But if there was a year to miss, it was this one
for sure.
You never want to be hurt, but
but now you know what, it was unfortunate the Angels released you, and it's a shame that they did, but you're lucky enough where the Red Sox came calling and picked you up. Was that recently? Was that a couple months ago?
It was in December.
Okay.
I had I switched agencies. I wasn't gonna reach out to anybody until like I felt confident that I was gonna get back to where I was. And it sucked for a long time. It was for 2 months. It was hard, but finally, I saw 90 miles an hour again, and it was just like, it was better than the first time I saw it.
Yeah.
I felt like accomplished. And so I switched agencies, have a great relationship with them obviously now. And then we spoke to a couple teams, and I knew how every team would react. Like, send us video, send us numbers, like
all that stuff. Yeah. And then the Red Sox just came calling.
You got to see it. And it was, they actually reached out earlier in like the whole process, and like it was kind of like hard for me to kind of figure out like how to handle it, because I wasn't throwing like really like where I wanted to be at. So I was like I can't throw right. Like I can't throw for you right now. But I will, like at some point I will.
Yeah.
And so it was like for me, it was like, all right, I don't want to rush it too soon and like suffer like a setback, but I also don't want to wait too long for like the interest to be gone.
Yeah.
But everything aligned really well with them. I was like, I'm really intrigued with like, how they handle things and, kind of like the history behind them and, talking to their staff and, their pitching coordinators and, kind of seeing how they go about things. I'm really excited about that. And so it was, pretty much a no-brainer for me to go.
I mean, I'm sure, you're just as excited to get going, but man, like this has been one hell of a roller coaster. Going from, transferring schools to getting picked up as a free agent to, released and then picked up again by the Angels and then jerked around and sent to every single team in their organization and then being released and now picked up again by the Red Sox. There's been one hell of a story. One hell of a roller coaster, man. I don't know how you're still standing, but here you are, still, firing away. And I'm definitely going to be rooting for you a lot this year.
It's been, I'm definitely going like on the journeyman path.
Oh yes. You have earned that badge for sure.
It'd be great to be your first rounder, like top prospect and just kind of
nice, easy path to the big leagues, but no way.
Always get the benefit of the doubt, but yeah, I wouldn't trade it for anything. And I think I always try to think like the positive side, like I'm able to see how different organizations do like go about their system and meet a lot of guys, a lot of teammates, and some guys don't do that. Some guys are with one team their whole career. That's all like they really ever get to experience. But I'm glad I get to see it differently and see different parts of the country and see different teams and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
That's fantastic. So last two questions I'd like to ask everybody before we wrap it up. When is Zack Kelly and the Boston Red Sox winning the next World Series?
Hopefully 2021.
2021. Here we come, baby. And then the last question I ask everybody that comes on the podcast, if you can go back in time and talk to 16-year-old Zack Kelly, what is the advice you're going to give him?
Don't let anybody like ever tell you that you can't. There's always somebody watching somewhere, half the time you probably don't even know that that you're being watched, but taking care of the little things. Don't let Division II baseball deter you. Don't just trust the process.
Yeah.
Yeah, just baseball. Everybody has a time limit. Some guys are done after Little League. Some guys are done after 20 years in the big leagues. Everybody has it. Regardless of where you finish, just give it your all until that day comes. Because some days it might come quicker than others, and sometimes it might come when you don't expect it. Fortunately, I'm able to get another chance, but sitting in mid-July with my elbow in a brace, I didn't know. I didn't know
absolutely
if it would ever come back, and so that's like another thing. I kind of realized I wasn't ready to be done. Like I felt like I didn't feel
still
like I
had more in the tank.
I didn't feel like I had given everything I had, and so that's not a good feeling to have. And so that's what I'd encourage younger players to do is just give everything you have, empty out the tank for sure.
Zack Kelly, thank you so much for coming on. I think the one word to describe your journey is just perseverance, because you have just kept on chugging along the whole way, and I really admire that story. That's fantastic. Like I said earlier, we didn't know each other at all, but you reached out to come on. But this has been a fantastic story. Thank you so much for bringing it here. Where can everyone find you on social media so they can give you a follow, so they can go find that blue check mark you got?
Instagram at Zack_Kelly19. And I think Twitter is at Zack_Kelly9. Not very active on Twitter. A lot of Virginia Tech football retweets, but it's about what you're going to get out of me on Twitter.
Thanks for coming on, Zach.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys for checking out another episode. I really appreciate the continued support by all of you. You can always go check out all the older episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere that you're checking out any of these episodes. You can go find them. Don't forget to give me a follow at Brad_Queso to stay up to date with all the episodes as well as the pages for this podcast at MILB Take and at the MILB Take on Instagram and Twitter. I can't wait. Spring training is just around the corner. We got our report dates, March 31st. I'm pulling into Pirate City, and I can't wait to do everything I can to try to hit a home run or steal a base this year. Thank you guys for checking out another episode, and I'll see you next week.